Hello and welcome to Forgotten Clubs of Wrexham, where today we're going to be covering some football history in Brymbo. So, one of the first clubs in Brymbo was a team by the name of Brymbo Institute, who formed in 1888. The Brymbo Institute have its origins in the Brymbo Institute Cocoa and Reading Rooms, which were opened in 1888 by the Derby family, local industrialists. The Derby family were teetotalers. So steel workers are rarely teetotalers, so the cocoa rooms weren't as much of a success as they imagined. In 1887, the miners themselves took over the running of the institute and it became the Brymbo Workmen's Institute instead. In 1888, we see the first mention of Brymbo Institute Football Club. Another link to the Derby family is that one of them acted as the club president at the formation in 1888. Brymbo Institute were quite a big football club at the time. Played in the Welsh Senior League and played in the Welsh Cup. They reached the Welsh Cup semi-final in 1894, but were knocked out 1-0 by Wrexham. Some of the match reports from the time paint quite a bleak picture of Brymbo. One match report from when they played Bangor City describes it as being bleak, a wilderness on the side of a mountain with nothing around it, dominated by the steelworks. The Bangor players got changed in the Mount Hotel and had to walk 10 minutes to the pitch, which would have been where these new built houses are now, or just above them anyway. Obviously the topography would have changed with the expansion of the steelworks. The land was probably higher now than what it was back then. So the Bangor City players changed in a hotel called the Mount and then had to walk 10 minutes in freezing conditions. They said across an intricate maze of railway lines, and they said it was snowy conditions and that cold that it could have made a polar bear ill. Another account survived from Aberystwyth town when they played a Welsh Cup game here the year afterwards. Paints a similar picture. They got dropped off on a railway line which has now been buried under the expansion of the steelworks. Again, they said they didn't know where the pitch was, and some local had to show them where it was. So they had to cross an intricate maze of railway lines dominated by the steelworks. Said the players were trying to avoid shunting engines and hot burning substances, which were a byproduct of iron and steel production. So when the Brymbo Institute Football Club folded in around about 1897, they were replaced by a club in the area called Brymbo United for a season. Brymbo United existed just for a single season, and then they were replaced in the area by Brymbo Victoria. Brymbo Victoria had some success. They played in the Combination League, which covered some of North Wales and some of North West England, but in 1907 they also reached the final of the Welsh Amateur Cup. However, they lost. Brymbo Victoria went out of business around 1911. There's another team in the area by the name of Green United, who were played on the green of Brymbo. They existed from 1910 to 1914 and disbanded during the outbreak of World War I. There are also sporadic references of Brymbo Institute making a comeback in the Wrexham District League in 1909, 1910, and again in the 1920s. After World War I, Green United re-emerged as Brymbo Green instead, and Brymbo Green merged with Brymbo Institute in 1921 to form Brymbo and Green United. But this club folded in 1927. So today I'm at the site of Brymbo Creek, which is the home of present-day Brymbo FC. Brymbo FC have their origins in Brymbo Steelworks FC, who were a powerhouse of Welsh football in the 60s, 70s and 80s. When the Steelworks was open, they changed the name on the closure of the steelworks in the early 90s. But yeah, I'm here now at the ground of Brymbo. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the history of football in Brymbo, really. If you're interested in football in the Victorian period and up to the First World War, it's available in Forgotten Clubs of Wrexham, which is available now on Amazon. Thank you for watching. One thing I will say, which I forgot to mention, is obviously the present day Brymbo FC have their origins in Brymbo Steelworks FC, the same as Brymbo Institute, how they were formed out of a working men's club from workers of the steelworks, or then would have been the ironworks. So you could say that the present day Brymbo FC is still a continuation of Brymbo Institute. Would have been linked by the same industry, by the same steelworks, which dominated the village for so long, really. Yeah, you could say the present day club is still a continuation of the one from 1888. Thank you.